Engineers and architects are supposed to be smart people. Within their calculations, there is beauty, functionality, and most importantly, the safety of those who use their building. But people make mistakes. Whether it's poor design, cost-cutting, miscalculations, bad execution, all of these can lead to calamity, death, and in some cases, criminal charges. Stadiums aren't exempt from these mistakes or these catastrophes. Today we're going to look at the worst stadium engineering disasters, and that's coming up right after this. Bros, the math doesn't lie. Women absolutely prefer a man who takes care of his junk. It isn't just about the concept of personal grooming. It's about having the right tools to get the job done. That's where Manscaped comes in. If you're using old rusty plug-in clippers, do yourself a favor and throw that shit away. Because you ain't getting Manscaped, you're getting Manscraped. Let me show you the proper way. Let's look at this fine piece of engineering. Do you see a cord? No. Their long-lasting battery allows you to take these waterproof clippers in the damn shower with you. That's the move right there. No cleanup. Oh, you worried about these blades rusting? Guess what, Nancy boy? They are made out of ceramic and they don't rust. And when they eventually get dull, replacing them is damn easy. You can even get replacement blades shipped to you automatically with Manscaped subscription options, where you can not only get all your blades replaced, but all your products like crop cleanser body soap, which is my favorite, sent right to your house without you getting up, lazy ass. So after this video, it's time to whack those weeds down and flex on yourself hard. Go to the link below, use my code FivePoints, and get 20% off and free shipping. Oh, did I mention the Perfect Package 2.0 comes with all this other kick-ass stuff? Again, use the code 5points and we'll throw in the Shed travel bag and ship it to you for free. Come on, it's time to live on the top flight of dick clippers. Manscaped.com. Before we get started, I want to make it clear, this list is reserved for engineering mistakes, not for awful things like stampedes, stadium crushes, riots, or fires. No, these were preventable. The world's first stadium disaster is supposedly the deadliest. In 27 AD, FIDENAE, a town just north of Rome, held a gladiatorial contest after a longtime ban had been lifted on them. Attilius, an entrepreneur, built a wooden grandstand and about 50,000 people gathered to watch the Lions maul the Saints. Well, the stands collapsed and an estimated 20,000 people died. In response, the Roman Senate said middle-class entrepreneurs could not host gladiator games, and all amphitheaters had to be built on solid ground, and Attilius was banned. At the time of its opening, Miller Park in Milwaukee, Wisconsin was state-of-the-art, a fan-shaped retractable roof with a neoclassic design. However, 2 years before its commencement, tragedy struck. On July 14, 1999, a Lamson LTI 1500 crane, nicknamed Big Blue, was placing a 450-ton section of the roof. Everything seemed normal until...
What's going on here? Okay, watch it, watch it! Shit! Shit! Shit!
As the crane fell, it struck a platform in which ironworkers Jeffrey Wisher, William DeGrave, and Jerome Starr were watching the lift. They were killed in the accident. Following the collapse, an investigation revealed that wind speed on the day of the incident was in the 20 to 27 mile per hour range, though engineers had calculated for the wind. The weight of the load the crane was carrying had not been factored into the rating, thus leading to the accident. 3 firms were fined, and the widows of the deceased workers received a settlement. A bronze sculpture at Miller Park now honors the 3 men. Computers are designed to make things easier and accurate. In the case of the Hartford Civic Center, computers did their exact job, but never count out humans for being stupid. Before Whalers fans implored people to come to their games, the Hartford Wolfpack played in the Hartford Civic Center, opened in 1975. Due to its complex steel roof design, engineers employed the use of computers to help crunch their numbers, a practice which was new at the time. Their figures turned out to be accurate. However, during the transfer of data from computer to their plans, errors were made. These mistakes were compounded by the fact that the roof was shown to be faulty during construction. However, crews, engineers, and foremen just ignored the problems. On January 18, 1978, 3 years after its opening and under heavy snow, the roof, already weakened under its own weight, collapsed. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. The roof was replaced a year later and the Whalers moved in. They would subsequently move to They say fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again.
You fool me, we can't get fooled again.
In the case of Nick A, aka the Dented Egg, in Halstenbach, Germany, the engineers didn't learn their lesson. When it was standing, Nick A was a gorgeous approach to an ice rink, subterranean seating with a transparent roof and built for a relatively low cost. Unfortunately, it wasn't built to withstand weather. In 1997, the roof collapsed after a storm. The engineers concluded the structure and design was sound, so they elected to build it again. A year later, it collapsed again under severe weather. Luckily, in both instances, nobody was hurt. After a protracted legal battle, the whole thing was torn down and replaced with a traditional facility. In modern times, where engineers have many tools at their disposal to design and test their projects, it's nearly inexcusable for there to be a disaster. However, greed and ignorance are always present no matter what day and age we live in. In the case of SULTAN MIZAN ZAINAL ABIDIN Stadium in Malaysia, so many corners were cut it's amazing it even got built. Only a year after its opening, the 50,000-seat stadium's roof collapsed as engineers implemented a faulty design and used poor materials. Luckily, nobody was hurt, though there were staff on site. A year later, as the roof was being rebuilt, it collapsed again, this time severely injuring 3 construction workers. The stadium sat abandoned until 2018 and is now apparently being rebuilt. Third time's a charm, eh? You would think that Germany would have learned their lesson with Nikkei, but 10 years later, the country suffered another ice rink roof collapse, and this time it was fatal. Bad Reichenhall ice rink in Bavaria, Germany was built in the 1970s during the Cold War. In 2006, after heavy snow and during a holiday skate, the roof caved in, killing 15 people, including 8 children. What's even more despicable is that earlier, officials had halted a practice session for the local ice hockey team, fearing the roof would collapse, but opened the structure for a free skate later. Walter Grimm, the engineer responsible for the design, was convicted of manslaughter as it was determined that the snow on top of the roof was actually less than what should have caused a collapse, putting the fault on poor engineering. He served 18 months in jail. A memorial to the victim stands at the former site. The worst time to have a heart attack is during a game of charades, and the worst time to have a structural collapse is when a stadium is full of fans. Prior to a French Cup semi-final match at Stade ARMAND CESARI, more commonly known as FIDENAE, in 1992, it was recognized that the stadium, which had a capacity of around 9,000, could not hold the 18,000 fans that were expected to show up. A rickety grandstand was demolished and a new one was built in a period of about 2 weeks, with permits and plans rushed through approvals. What's the worst that could happen, right? On the day of the match, fans packed the stands while structural problems were immediately noticed. Engineers and construction teams were literally tightening bolts, and at one point an announcer warned the fans not to move so much because of their rickety construction. Concerns grew, and 10 minutes before the match, the entire structure collapsed, killing 18 people and injuring 2,300 in an absolutely disgusting and avoidable catastrophe. Following the disaster, all matches were suspended, and later those responsible for the accident were convicted of crimes but only served light sentences of less than 2 years. The stadium was reopened in 2009. Hopefully this time, smarter people prevail. Well, I hope you learned something from this video, and please be safe the next time you attend a sporting event. And also, don't forget to check out our sponsor, Manscaped. I'm 5Points Vids, and you made it to my next video.